Yes, now people, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another upload, people. Make sure that you check out the preview that I done earlier, Liverpool versus Southampton. That is out now. We done the starting 11 prediction, we done the score prediction, but also I done a watch along with expressions earlier on. What else have we done? I just went on the COP TV to talk about a little bit of Premier League there. We are here and we are on the show. Shout out to everyone that is in the stream. I'm a United fan, Redmond. Well, Antoine, this show is a show for you because I understand, with me being a Liverpool fan and with, talking about Liverpool every day, I can understand that it doesn't meet the requirements or the needs or the satisfactions of a lot of the people that watch this channel. So I thought, you know what, let me bring in a rival watch series where I can talk about the Premier League and still kind of related to Liverpool because it's our biggest rivals. Today we are going to be talking a lot about some of the games that have took place. I don't want to just start doing prediction shows. I want to start reviewing the games that have just gone by. We're going to review Manchester United versus Aston Villa last night. Brilliant 2-1 win there for United. Spurs obviously got a great win against Leeds today. Everton losing to West Ham. Moyes beating David Ancelloti. Carlo Ancelloti. David Ancelloti. More like fucking David Ancelloti after yesterday's performance, mate. But no, shout out to everyone in the chat and welcome to the show. Yeah, mate, this is why, like I said, I wanted to bring this show for the fact that I can talk about Premier League football and whatnot. And there was some big games before we do carry on. I do just want to put someone in a timeout because he is spamming. Zamir, don't be spamming, my friends. But no, do you know what? Because I feel like there's a lot of Red Devils in here, and I know that a lot of Man United fans are getting big for their boots. And if you talk about the thumbnail and whatnot, we'll talk about Manchester United first and their game against Aston Villa. And one thing that I'll say about the game as a whole, it was very end-to-end, and it was like, it was kind of like a basketball match, kind of like Manchester United versus Leeds, minus all them goals that took place in that game as well. Aston Villa were good. They lost the game, but they lost to a penalty from Bruno Fernandes, as per usual. But one thing that you just saw is that Man United just had that little bit of edge of quality that they do have in their starting 11. It's very, very true. And one thing that I've saw from these Man United players, and I'll get into the star-out performances and whatnot in a second, but one thing I've saw from these players, whether you think Man United are title contenders or not, and I'll give you my answer in a minute, but whether you think that or not, them players have got fight for their manager. I don't know why, and I don't rate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer very highly when it comes to being a manager in that regard of some of the best managers. However, I do feel like he's got a bit of tactics to his game, but I also feel his man management or whatever is fantastic, because to have a group of players literally wanting to play for the manager, that quality is very looked over when it comes to being a good manager, and I feel that could, in some aspects, be better than tactical, managers. Look at Mikel Arteta right now. He's got a lot more to prove to show that he's more a better tactical manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. People just assume because he worked with Pep Guardiola, he's going to be better. And it's one of them things, like with Mikel Arteta, even though he may be a better tactician, look where he is. I don't know, Man United have got a much better squad and whatnot, but the point that I'm trying to make is, look at where he is in the league and look at where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, with worse tactics, but players actually playing for the manager. That's just the way I look at it. But that was a crazy game yesterday. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, we needed United to drop points. They are on our tail right now. And that's why it makes all of our future games all the more of importance. Must-wins. United fans getting too gassed. Bruno gets injured. It's over for them. Imagine thinking United is in the title race with Maguire and Lindelof. Well, that's the thing. They do need to rely on injuries. And this is where I need to put Man United fans kind of off their pedestal a little bit. And not in a salty way where I'm a Liverpool fan, but in a way that if you do lose, like, look at the injuries we've got. We've got a Joe Gomez and a Van Dijk. They're our two main starting centre-backs. We've had our star signing in Thiago out all season. Imagine if you lost your star signing in Bruno Fernandes. If buts maybe he's fair enough, but it's still a very strong point that if you lose an Eric Bailly, your defence is done out here. And then if you lose a Bruno Fernandes, then you've lost all that creativity and actual goals and assists within that midfield. Yes, you've still got Pogba, but how often has Pogba played shit when Bruno hasn't been there? Now he looks like he's got a bit more confidence. And I also attribute Pogba's recent successes on the pitch to the fact that he's being given more freedom, and I do feel like that works better for Pogba. But shout out to the 80 people that are in this live stream. Make sure you're smashing a like. Let me know if you love these shows, and I will bring more of them to you. I also want to start getting guests onto this show. I've had expressions on already, Saeed, Rants. I'm going to get them on a lot more over the next few weeks for sure. Even like Rory and whatnot. Going to get everyone on this show, man. We're going to make it one of the best shows on YouTube without a doubt. The James Redmond Rival Watch. Anyway, from Ryan Turner, they are only up there with us at the moment is because we've been dropping points. If we had the same consistent start like we did last season, we'd already be points clear. You're right, Ryan, but then you have a dangerous feeling of playing the if buts maybes game, and you know we don't do them. But nah, it's just, yeah, if we did have as good of a start last year than what we did this year, then yes, we would be clear. But let's be real, we've actually got proper reasons to why we are where we are, and we're still top. We're still top of the league. Man United fans can say joint top, but listen, I got it when we were joint top with Spurs a few weeks ago. It's not really joint top. You're still second because of goal difference, and that's what Man United fans need to realise. It's all good being in there in December and whatnot. I just think with that manager, not the players on paper. The players on paper are more than good enough to go on and win this league. It's the manager. I don't feel like he can get them through the mud all the way till May and get them to win a league trophy. I don't think he can step in that tyre with Jurgen Klopp 1 foot in and go hammer and tong till May and be there throughout the duration. I don't think that will happen. That's just my opinion. People are saying here Spurs are still in the title race. Maybe you're right, but it's just we'll talk about Spurs more in a little bit right now with Man United. If you ask me, are they in the title race? Well, as of right now, yes, because they're joint top and they're very close to Liverpool. But take into consideration we're getting players back like a Thiago and whatnot, so you can't just live off these games that we've drew recently and expect them to carry on going forward when actually our squad's getting better. As for the game itself against Aston Villa, if you talk about standout performances, I really thought, don't get me wrong, Eric Bailly, I thought he had a very solid game. But if you're talking about one man in particular, I really was impressed by Wan-Bissaka. I thought he was brilliant at right back for Manchester United yesterday. Really, really solid. Come up against Jack Grealish. Kind of came up against Jack Grealish and El Ghazi. They kind of switched throughout the game. And he dealt with it perfectly well. Other standout performers, Pogba, he was playing on the left, like I said. He has a solid game. Bruno Fernandes got the penalty. Martial even was able to chip in with a goal. I feel like Martial's been playing well over the past few weeks. He just hasn't been getting the goals in the back of the net, but he's been putting, you know, a real solid work rate in. And I change into the Irish accent for my brother, Stephen Reynolds, my G. Penalty merchant team. Josh, you are right. Man United get a lot of penalties, but they're still getting results. And that's one thing I want to kind of lean into is Man United do still get the results they're needing to get to be where they are. But you haven't had to overcome adversity in terms of heavy injuries. Yes, and I know you missed out on Martial for a few games and Eric Bailly's inconsistent. But imagine losing your first choice centre-backs. And look at your first choice centre-backs. They're not the greatest. But imagine losing them. Wouldn't really be ideal. From Ryan Turner, I also just want to say, James, mate, watching your vids inspires me to want to start making videos myself, talking about Liverpool FC and just football in general. I just haven't got the confidence. Ryan, the only advice I give you is don't care about what other people say, bro. And if it's something you want to do and it's a dream you want to go for, then I really suggest that you go for it. And I salute you, because when you're talking on here, Ryan, mate, you seem to have good points. So go for it, my brother. Definitely go for it. But no, that was the Manchester United and Aston Villa game. And the question of the video, do we now have to start looking at Manchester United as real contenders? Not just contenders, real contenders. Can they stay in there till the end of the season? If you ask me that question, and I'll ask you the same, I say no. I don't think they can. I don't think they've got enough to be able to stay in there till the end of the season. And it's not to do with the fact Manchester United haven't got the players on paper, like I said before. It's mostly to do with the fact I don't think they've got the manager and everything outside of the starting 11 to be able to compete with Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool need to get lucky as well, and Man City will start to come back in to the equation. And you know, people can't write off all these teams, mate. That's another thing as well. It's just too early. I think it's a bit early to say you're in the title race in December when it's only been a few good games from the team, and it still doesn't really look like they've got a heavy sense of direction. But we've got a super chat from Richard Blackdog. And by the way, Richard, thank you for supporting the channel a lot today, my mate. You really have been a big help. And also, just so anyone else knows for future, if you do super chat or you decide to become a member, you can do that by clicking the link in the description. Everything gets reinvested back into the channel to make it better. So massively appreciated to anyone who does support. But if you can't afford it, always just leave a like and subscribe. But from Richard Blackdog, still here, yeah, James, I hate your ex-player. Wait there. I hate ex-players being fast-tracked as managers of big clubs. Lampard, Solskjaer, Arteta, etc. Puts a mockery on the league I am on. I'm still here, James. I hate ex-players being fast-tracked as managers. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Richard. So players like Frank Lampard, yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I think I can't really attribute these people and these managers getting these roles other than the fact that in that time, the club's left it too long to go and get their main option. So you mentioned Arsenal, you mentioned Mikel Arteta, Richards, and it's one of them things, like they brought in Arteta when they could have went out and got a Carlo Ancelloti. It's like you can't just setting yourself up for a few years of having to rebuild and having to get back into a position. Because even Frank Lampard, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, one of these done before to go and manage these absolute top clubs. What? Because you wore the shirt 10 years ago. I agree. I really do agree. In fact, Liverpool are in a bit of a similar situation, or will be, when Steven Gerrard obviously finishes at Celtic or Rangers and Jurgen Klopp leaves Liverpool. And he obviously beat Celtic today 1-0. He's smashing it in the Scottish League right now. He's killing it. Even in the Europa League, he's doing bits, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's like he's now building a resume for himself where us Liverpool fans are now looking right. He can get a squad playing well together, because people are saying, oh, it's the Scottish League, mate, behave yourself. But he's with Rangers. He's doing a job that no one has been able to do for the past 10 years. So it's like one of them things. You've got to give him homage in that aspect, and he's building himself a resume. Mikel Arteta didn't build himself a resume except being a coal man. Frank Lampard didn't build himself a resume. He didn't even get promotion with Derby, which was the ambition. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what did he do before United? It's just over time he's built relationships with players. It's not to do with the fact he's a great tactical manager. And I'm not shitting on these managers, but I agree with you, Richard. I don't understand how these have somehow found the pedigree and have somehow found the right to feel like they deserve to be a Premier League manager. And obviously, if you're the man, then you're going to take it. But it doesn't mean that it's the best man out there, like I said before, when there's an Ancelloti and whatnot. But speaking of Ancelloti, let's get into David Moyes versus Carlo Ancelloti. Obviously, our annoying little cousins getting the job done as well. Have you ever seen Gerrard win the league? Real United, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, yeah. Shut your mouth. But you're the legend, no doubt, because you're modding this chat and you're keeping control. Anyway, Everton and what's the faces? West Ham. And the biggest surprise about Everton losing this game, actually, is the fact they were away. They were at home and West Ham were away from home. Very, very surprising. Everton are usually very solid when it comes to being at home and defensive play at home. They're very confident when it comes to being at Goodison. And don't get me wrong, they still had a solid defensive performance. Don't really think anyone has like astronomically bad game. It was just one of them. It was close, and West Ham were there till the end, and they were there to take the points. And I think now you've just got to start realising where Everton are, and they haven't got the consistency to possibly even get Saeed. I mean, Real United, people are calling you Saeed, so that's why I called you Saeed. But you're a dickhead fan. Anyway, I just don't think Everton have got the capabilities to stay in this title race, but not even the title race. Let's talk about top four for Everton. I've said this since the start of the season. Even though Everton have had a few good runs and they've done okay from time to time, you can't put them in the title race. You've got to walk before you can run. You've got to be able to doggy paddle before you can swim. I don't know if that's a fact, but you get what I'm trying to offer. It's like, even though they brought in a James Rodriguez, Carlo Ancelloti got to bring in a few of his own players. They've got a very solid defence. It's still not going to be enough when you talk about consistency. It takes time for these teams to get better together and gel better together. And even in this game, that was very, very evident. It was just, there was no true fire. There was no true class being outshone by Everton to West Ham. West Ham matched Everton for quality, as a lot of teams can. Even if you think of the subs, don't get me wrong, Everton brought on Andre Gomez and James Rodriguez, and if you're starting them, it's a different story. But even when you look at the players that West Ham were bringing on, in Antoine, Yarmolenko and Lanzini, I'm not saying they've got a better squad than Everton, but it's not much worse. Why? Because Everton have got James Rodriguez, they're much better. because they've got Richarlison, who, yes, is very good, but they're much better. Calvert-Lewin, yeah, he's been massively informed. But it's not one of them where it's miles ahead of West Ham. The teams are now a lot closer. Every team in the league, or near enough, every team in the league have got their own set of players where you look at and think, wow, that's actually a good squad, more than just the starting 11. And it was one of them games where both squads were tested here, and David Moyes came out on top. Souček got the goal in the 86th minute. You know, again, a very close game. Everton edged the possession, but the shot total was very, very close. It was just, again, another sort of basketball game, which we're seeing a lot when it comes to this Premier League season. Can you even explain the weirdness that this Premier League season has brought? But that doesn't surprise me, that result, though, because Everton, they've been in good form recently, and they're just a team that struggled to maintain that form, and that's one thing that I thought was displayed when it came to their game against Aston Villa. But that's a massive result for Liverpool as well, though, because now that's any sort of thought that Everton could still be in this title race before has now surely got to be diminished, and you've got to start looking at Tottenham's, and you've got to start looking at Manchester United's more solely, because I feel like a few weeks ago it was Everton. But this is why you've got to remember that it is just the same, or not now, January, and you can't get too carried away with yourselves, you know what I'm saying? But we have got we've got a member, Matt Hayes. Welcome to the James Redmonds Army. Well, you're already in the Redmonds Army, but becoming a member makes you a Redmonds Army fella. So now you're a Redmonds Army fella. You're not just a part of the Redmonds Army. You're recruited, my mate. So Matt Hayes, absolute legend, for becoming a member. Honestly, my mate, thank you very much for that. And anyone who wants to become a member, you can support the channel by doing so by clicking the link in the description, my friends. And yeah, it's very simple. But thank you for that, Matt Hayes, my mate. Also, over time, I want to bring exclusive content to the members as well. So let me know any ideas that you might have. And once we've got a few more members on board, we will certainly start doing that. But anyway, last game. So far, we've got Man United, which weren't a great result for us because obviously we needed them to lose. And then we had, who else did we have? Everton losing, which was a good result for us. Let me read this. Let me read a few comments first before we move into Spurs, though. Anyway, James, Liverpool on bad form with the draws. Manchester United are in good form. But honestly, I feel like we play better football still. Yeah, Tom, there's no doubt that we played better football. It's just been our chances taken that's been letting us down. It hasn't even been a bad team play. We've been playing okay. It's just the chances haven't been getting taken. Salah, it was poor against Newcastle. We can't dispute that, and you can't just always expect these players to come in, week out, and you know, expect them to do a 10 out of 10 job. But the thing is, though, that was very below par from Salah, so I'm not trying to excuse him. I just know people will say that argument that, well, you can't expect them to do it week in, week out, but Mo Salah can do it week in, week out, and regardless whether he's playing well or not, he's expecting to take them chances. So it's massive that we're losing on players like Jota and all these, but we should be doing better with the bunch that we've got there. James, what do you think? Who do you think should replace Origi if he leaves this summer? Anyone? Just anyone with better attributes than Origi, because he doesn't suit our style of play. So I'm very, very easy with that. James, where will Spurs finish? And I suppose this leads me on to the next segue very, very nicely. But Tottenham Hotspur just beat Leeds 3-0. You ask me, where do I think Tottenham will finish at the end of this season? I sincerely do not know how to give you a proper answer that I feel like could stick, because I feel like I will change my mind when it comes to next week or whatever. I really, really do feel that way. It's so difficult because Jose Mourinho, he has two approaches. He has the one where he sits back, and he has the one where he can really go for it and utilise the players that he has got. Before I continue my point, Ryan Turner has become a Redmonds Army fella, and we are forever grateful, my mate. So thank you very much, Ryan. You've always been a supporter of the channel, and welcome to the James Redmond TV Army. James Redmonds Army fella crew. Yes, we got there in the end. But yeah, Jose Mourinho's got two styles of plays when it comes to playing football. He's got the defensive approach, which he has against us and has against Leicester, and then he has the one where he'll actually use his players and utilise his players to where he can try and match it on the pitch. And I said this to Expressions before we went live. I said, if he goes defensive, that's very silly, because you're still going to have chances conceded against Leeds, because that's just the way Leeds play. And you've got better players than them. So if you match them at their game, because Leeds can't do nothing but attack. That's what they know to do. That's what's built into them. The one thing that I thought was just, if you can match them, then you can beat them, because you've got Harry Kane, you've got Heung-min Son, and obviously hindsight has shown that I was proven corrected in that theory of thinking, well, if you've got better players and you try and match them by simply just playing attack and football, then that will be the case. Do you hear what I'm saying? And Jose Mourinho got it right today. Not one thing did he get wrong. He smashed it. Starting 11 was perfect. There was some doubts to why Ben Davies started over Reguilon. Now you can see why Ben Davies started over Reguilon. Also, shout out to Richard Blackdog, who has become a YouTube member. Another way of supporting the channel. He's been smashing it, and everyone becoming the members right now. You are absolute legends, mate. I'll have to start getting ideas on content that I can get out there for you soon. There's actually a community post for the members, so you 3 members who've just joined, and also Ian Butler, who's the other member. We've now got 4 members in that crew. You can go onto the channel community post that only you will be able to see, and suggest any video ideas that you'd like to see in terms of exclusive content. But yeah, Jose Mourinho, I think he can take Spurs far. It's just about consistency in the decisions that he's making. Because look at Jose Mourinho at Man United. He was getting them good results. He got them seconds. He got them a Europa League. He got them an FA Cup. But it all looked so good in hindsight when you saw what he'd done after it. And it's now like, well, he's got Tottenham to a great position in December. But can he keep them there? And can he keep them playing a little bit more than positive football? Because they can do it. Jose Mourinho needs a new approach. He can't just be playing this park the bus football all the time. When he went 2-3-0 up today, I said, listen, mate, start defending, start being easy, don't let Leeds get back in the game. But that's when you're winning. Jose Mourinho is notoriously known for doing this from the start of a game. That's why I want to just offer to you that even though I rate Jose Mourinho as a manager, I do feel like a lot of the decisions he makes is very, very questionable, and that's just the way I feel. Don't be mentioning Everton in the same name as in the same sentence as a title race. And I understand where you're saying that, Ben. I also agree. I don't think Everton are in the title race. But because some people were building up that could be the case, then yeah. But also, we've got another member, user smashing it from Wilford Long. Thank you a lot, my mate, for becoming a member. These will help the channel massively. That's one thing I just want you to know. It can be cancelled anytime as well. Just in case you do ever find yourself in any financial hardship and you can't afford to stay on. If you're just on this video, I massively, massively appreciate it. Don't start with this comment. Allow me with this comment because he's not. And I can give you reasons to why he's not. So don't start. But no, people, that's kind of like the roundup on the Premier League football. I'll talk about Arsenal, West Brom briefly before I end this video because I know they're playing just after this. So I suppose if you're watching this and Arsenal and West Brom have already played because they're kicking off in half an hour or just over half an hour, then obviously thank you for watching the video. But I think it's going to be a draw, Arsenal, West Brom. And not because I think Arsenal are too shit. Mate, stop spamming. Put you in timeout and put you in a split blood. Anyway, Arsenal, West Brom. I don't see Arsenal getting another win. And it's not because I don't think they've improved form. Clearly they have. But that Chelsea win only looks so good when you see what they do against Brighton. And they went and won against Brighton. And that's what Arsenal needed. And it's about time they start and getting some consecutive victories. Because if they don't, they can really start being in trouble. However, now they've got a big test against West Brom, against Big Sam. Because they will take the approach of defending happily. They're not going to want to risk it against Arsenal. Even though Arsenal haven't been in great form and haven't been playing the most exciting football, Big Sam is still new in his job. He is going to take the easiest and most safest approach, which makes it more difficult for Arsenal probably. And that's why I'm saying it's going to be 1-1. I feel like it'll be a similar game to how it was with us. And then it kind of just makes you ask the questions again. Like, so where do we go with Mikel Arteta? Because how far can Arteta get Arsenal? Especially with the position he's got them in now. It just, for me, that whole thing with Mikel Arteta doesn't make sense. And I don't know if it's the board. I don't know if it's himself, if it's the players. But either way, something's not working. And it all sort of points towards Mikel Arteta. Maybe he's a great tactical manager. Maybe the players are just not playing for him and he's not being backed by the board. I'm not disputing any of that. But you're seeing what works and what doesn't. And clearly Arteta at Arsenal Football Club doesn't work, at least right now. But people, that will be the end of this rival watch. Hopefully you did all enjoy. Make sure you're smashing the likes. There's 140 people chilling in this chat. So make sure that you do smash the like button if you haven't already. Also subscribe. And thank you to everyone who's become a member in this stream. You're absolute legends on a different level. Like I said, in case you didn't see me say it before. Everything that gets invested into this channel will be reinvested, so use a legend. Any surprise Jota-like signing that you're expecting, James? To be honest, my mate, I don't care what signings we get in January, as long as one of them is a centre-back. That's the only thing I can establish. just as long as we can get. But nah, shout out to everyone in the chat. Man like Hammers, thank you, James. Thank you, MJH. Realist United doing a great job as a mod, as usual. But yeah, people, thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, and I will see you all